Well, I was in the police academy, and I was on my lunch hour, and I had went to Lazarus. I must have been shopping for shoes or something, and anyway, I came out of Lazarus and was standing at Town and High, and I heard, I believe over their communication system, that the president had been shot.
Frank Phillips was one of 21 young police academy graduates ready to begin on-duty training when President John F. Kennedy was shot.
President Kennedy has been assassinated. It's official now. The president is dead.
One of those things you never think that the president of the United States is going to be assassinated. At that time, it never even occurred to me.
In the Sunday Dispatch, Joe Karam was quoted, "I don't know what to say. I'm just too shocked." Today, at age 85, he recalls when he first received the news.
I was coming from court. I was a young attorney at that time, just approximately 6 years. And I was crossing Broad and High from the Deschler Wallach to my office, which was at 8 or 16 East Broad. Halfway through the crosswalk, somebody hollered, "The president's been shot." What I remember more than that was another attorney who I knew screamed, "Thank God." And I just got sick to my stomach. And I just went to my office. It was, heat doesn't stop sometime in tragedy. Sad.
It's official, as of just a few moments ago.
The news of Kennedy's death in Dallas traveled quickly to Remington Road in Bexley, where a then-pregnant Harriet Resch was waiting for her sister.
It's just something I'll go to my grave remembering as if it was yesterday. I remember sitting sitting in the car at my sister's house in the drive when all our neighbors came. It's like it just happened yesterday. So anyway, then she came out and drove me back over home here. And we were sitting in the living room, and we had the TV in there, and we were watching it and crying, and it threw me into labor then. So anyway, I said, "Margie, I think we better get to the hospital."
Before the assassination that Friday, the Rogers family welcomed a baby girl.
Of course, I tell the nuns, first thing they asked me, they said, yeah, Mom had a baby girl. And at the recess, the priest came up to me and said something to me. I remember him, you have a name picked out? Yeah. I said, no, you know what? We're just kind of getting through this stuff. So that was all really cool. So we get back from recess, and we're sitting in the class room, and the nuns at the front, and storming through the door comes another nun, tears in her eyes, grabs the other nun by the arms, and says something to her. Well, my heart dropped. I was sure that something had gone wrong. I mean, it was just surreal. Any minute they were going to turn to me and say, something happened to your mom, or we need to take you out of the room, or whatever. Crazy how I felt. But she got the room, so we're all going to walk across the parking lot to the church. So they put us all in a line, thinking, Jesus, what could have possibly happened at that point? And so we're walking across the way, and the whole time we're walking across the parking lot to the church of St. Christopher's, I'm thinking, oh my God, what, just tell me what happened. So we get there, and the Monsignor Kappas comes out and says, the president's been shot. We're all going to say a rosary, say a prayer. Seriously, I was the only one in that room that was thinking, thank God.
Gina Stahl and Tony Resch share birthdays with the anniversary of JFK's death, a moment in time most people who were living remember 50 years later.
There definitely is a special feeling, and certainly I've been very fortunate over the years, so I think maybe there's a little bit of luck along the way. Even though a tragedy happened, I think sometimes a lot of good comes about from it as well.
Sometimes I have to speak for my job, and one of the quotes that stands out to me is, "To whom much is given, much is expected." And So I base a lot of my talks on that because I've been very, very blessed. I had a great family. We always had a roof over our head. We always had food. And, you know, we need to give back. And so I think Kennedy is a good example. And I've kind of tried to tie those things that he stood for, you know. And when you look back at history, the whole world changed that day. And everything now moves so much more quickly when you think of the advances that we've had in the last 50 years. Really, you know, his death really changed the world.